Hari Om. Good evening. A very warm welcome to all of you. Please come. Let's take the blessings from the Almighty. Asato ma sadgamaya tamaso ma jyotirgamaya mrityorma amritam gamaya sahana bhavatu sahano bhunaktu saha viryankaravahai tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat Shri Chinmaya Sadgurave Namaha. Together, with Shraddha, Bhakti, Gnana, Vairagya and Prapatti, we offer our humble salutations to the Almighty, to the Divine who also has the divine names as Sharabaha and Bhimaha. To seek His grace, His mercy, His love, His compassion, His affection, His strength, His forgiveness. O Lord, bless us with the divine qualities of Shraddha, Bhakti, Gnana, Vairagya, Prapatti, Mumukshutva in much more proportion, only and only to realize Thy true self in our hearts, Aparokshanubhuti. And we beseech in You that at the end of our life, we reach Thy holy abode. Om That's it. Today, by the grace of the Almighty and with the blessings of the Guru Parampara, we are on our Divine Discourse number 345. On the 15th of August 2023, Shobhanakrit Nama Samvatsara Dakshinayana Varsha Rutu Adhika Shravana Masa Krishna Paksha Chaturdashi Pushya Nakshatra Vyatipata Yoge Vishtikarane. On this auspicious day of Tuesday and the auspicious time of the evening, we all take a firm resolve with conviction, Na ham karta hari karta, hari preranaya, hari prityartha. O Lord, I truly know, I truly understand that whatever is happening to me in my life is only at your command, at your behest. And I have now clearly understood that all that what is happening, be it through any situation, circumstance, incident, experience, through a person, place, or object, is only and only to uplift me from this ocean of births and deaths. With complete devotion, trust, and surrender, I accept everything with prasada buddhi, with that sense of gratitude, peace, contentment, and solace. Please give me that renewed strength to enhance my faith, live with all that which comes, without a wee bit of doubt in my mind. Our humble salutations to the entire Guru Parampara. Om. That's it. Good evening, everybody. A very warm welcome to all of you once again. So now, what did we study in the previous revision? Let's take a short recap on the important aspects, because now the Lord is going to tell us about 12 yajnas. The 24th verse, which we understood the ultimate goal of the yajna, where we see the Lord in each and every aspect of the universe. And post that, now what we are going to study today is the 11 yajnas, where the 12th one is culminating. How we can make each and every act of ours as a yajna. Here you could be doing all the 11, one or more, or all. This is what we need to understand. So before citing the yajnas to us, he makes it very clear that what should be the mindset of a sadhak. It's not that anybody and everybody can even understand what I'm trying to tell you. You may bring somebody with force and say, listen, listen. But unless and until their mind is pure, unless and until they have a decent amount of some revered qualities, they will not be able to understand this, even if they are told. So he talks about these qualities And let's just take a quick recap and then move on to the subsequent shlokas. So now those qualities which he mentioned was, in verse 18, he clearly says, Karmani akarma yah pashet, meaning seeing inaction in action. You're doing an action, but you have the strong gut feeling to say that I am not doing this action. How do you say that? Although you're doing, but you said I am not doing. That is when you are so much convinced that this action is done by the Lord and Lord alone. That power which is there in me, that prana shakti which is there in me, that is driving this body, mind and senses. I am not the doer. So there he talks about he is the wisest person who pashyet akarmani, in action. And then he talks about the qualities kama sankalpa varjitaha, who is devoid of all the desires. See, it's not that one should, when we say devoid of all desires, means whatever that is needed for your survival, that is fine. But beyond that, without knowing what is your need, one aspires for more. So there he says, such a person will not be able to get onto this path. At some point you have to put a break. You have to say, enough of this world now. Now let me look at something higher. So, Kama Sankalpa Varjitaha. So that is another important quality which he spoke about. And then he speaks about, subsequently he talks about the quality which is Tyaktva Karmaphala Sangam. Meaning, I am doing something. He works on whatever he is doing without any attachment to what is the outcome of that task. See, now remember, karmani akarmani, seeing in action. When you have gone to that state, when you're not the doer at all, then how come you have an attachment to the result? I want the result in so and so manner. The action is also not done by you, and then the outcome of the action is also not pertaining to you. So nirashihi, who does not crave for these results, and yadrucha labha santushtaha, he is satisfied with whatever he gets by asking or even by not asking. Whatever comes his way, he is completely satisfied. Samasiddha vasiddho, he is transcended the duality of success or failure. See these qualities, and we have to work towards them. It's not that they are just going to fall from heaven, from the sky and become a part of us. No. So now such a person, gata sangasya muktasya. Sangasya means attachment. What is attachment? Not expecting anything from what you have done. First of all, I am not the doer, and I don't have any desire for what is the outcome of that action. So then that automatically becomes gata sangasya muktasya. There is no attachment. I'm not expecting anything. Whatever comes, I take that as with the prasada buddhi. So, and such a person who has reached this state, he can very boldly say, Brahmarpanam Brahmahavihi, Brahmagno Brahmanahutam, Brahmaivatena Gantavyam, Brahma Karma Samadhinaha. He is going to talk of, he's now realized, what is there? It is that Lord and Lord alone who is doing everything. He is seeing everything. He is the creator of the world. He is the creator of this body. He is the creator of, He is giving life sustenance to this body, and everything which is happening around is only and only happening because of that life sustaining power. Having got this kind of a knowledge, having been strongly rooted in this kind of a knowledge, now this sadhak, he very emphatically, with conviction, he talks about everything what I see is Brahman and Brahman alone. See now here, when an action is done in isolation, saying that I am not the doer, you are not accountable for the consequences and the results as well. But when you say you are doing, then you become accountable. So when we do anything, knowing that you are not the doer, nothing sticks to you. This is the greatest secret of this creation. You are in Jiva Bhava because by default we have got the Aham Bhava in us. I am the doer. By default. Just like as you have your mobile ringtone, the light settings, the volume settings, all there by default they are done at a particular level. But now in the same way, Jiva also is born with the default setting that I am the doer. Anything that is happening in this body, he says, I am the doer. So here, one of the greatest secret which comes to any soul which is on the path of getting liberated. This is the lesson which comes to us, and we have to catch hold of this. Saying what? I am not the doer. That consciousness principle which is pervading the entire universe, which has created this entire creation, which is the life principle in each and every sentient body. Now, being in that body, operating through all the apparatus, being the sense organs, organs of actions, the prana, the mind, intellect, all that is being operated by that principal consciousness. And then who are you? I am a witness to the whole thing. I am nothing but the reflection of the Almighty. The Chaitanya Shakti which is enveloped the entire universe is now reflecting in my mind, in this body, as the Chaitanya Shakti. That Chaitanya Shakti is none other than the Chaitanya Shakti. I am that. So, the moment you disconnect yourself from this default setting, your liberation starts. See, now let's take a mirror. There is dirt on that mirror. What you are doing, you are only removing that dirt. The moment you remove the dirt, that mirror where you could not see anything in that, now you are able to properly see whatever is in front of it. So which means there is this liberation or understanding of that true self, the self-realization what we talk is that Atma is already in us. The only thing is the mind which is like a mirror is tainted with dirt and dust. So with the sadhana, we are going to clean that dirt. And now what are the sadhana? These are the 11 yajnas which the Lord is saying. Do one or two or all of them, but you must do. So, what should you achieve at the end of all the 11 yajnas? He talks of the macro picture of the entire creation, a universal force which is everything in reality. Brahmarpanam, the ladle is Brahman, meaning what you offer as havis That is Brahman because it is made of wood. And where did that wood come from? It comes from a tree. How was the tree born? It was born from a seed. Where did the seed come from? From the five elements. Who created the five elements? Maya. And who created Maya? Brahman. Maya is nothing but it is Brahman's power. Just like the sun has got light and heat, in that way Brahman has got this power of Maya, which is projecting an universe. So Brahma Havis, the oblation is Brahman. Brahmagno, the fire is Brahman, where Agni is burning. That also is by that consciousness. And then in such a fire, Hutam, you are pouring Brahmana, meaning a Brahmana is an agent who is performing the yajna. He is also none other than Brahman. So whatever the results, Gantavyam, you are getting out of it, that also is Brahman. So this way, Brahma Karma Samadhi, which means the goal which you want to reach, that also is Brahman alone. I'll give you some examples to make this, to get this understanding better. Now say there is a song. You listen to the music. What music? Let's say a tabla is of that particular song is being played. You listen to it. Immediately what do you say? You say this is this so and so song. Then you listen to the singer. You will say so and so song. Then you listen to the harmonium which is playing in the background. Immediately on listening to the song, you will say harmonium noise sound. You will say this is this song. Now you listen to a chorus of that particular song where several artists are singing. You will say this song. Now what is happening here? The same thing. This song, which is displayed in several formats. So if you listen to the main artist singing, you will say that same song. If you listen to the tabla music, you say it is the same song. If you listen to a harmonium, you will say it is the same song. In the same way, when you take it independently, you will say, how can this be, the ladle be Brahman? Go one step backwards, as we just now went up to Maya. Then you will see that everything is Brahman. Another example to understand this. You have a jigsaw puzzle, okay? Of one particular picture, you have the pieces of the jigsaw puzzle. Now, let's say it was the picture of a king. You get a piece, you say this is the king. Where if you may get a piece of the head, you will say this is the king. You will get a piece of the hand, you will say this is the king. So when the jigsaw puzzles come together, what finally happens is you get the broad picture. Another example. There's a mother and there is a baby. Now you have gone to visit the baby. Okay. And they give that baby into your arms. You're holding that baby or cuddling that baby. And then, the mother is in some work. You show the baby's face. So she immediately, what is the reaction? She says, my cutie pie, my baby, she says. You showed the face. Then you show the leg. Then she kisses the leg and she says, my darling baby. You show the hands. She again kisses the hands and says, my baby. Now, when you look in isolation, face she is saying it's my baby. Hand she is saying it's my baby. So in the same way, when we look in isolation, whatever you see over there in this world, it's nothing but Brahman and Brahman. Let's say there is a king. Now a neighboring king has come from the neighboring kingdom. So Now this king is showing his kingdom to the neighboring king. So he's taking him along. He shows the rivers and he says, this is my kingdom. He shows the palaces and he says, this is my kingdom. He shows the vast forests and he says, this is my kingdom. He shows the mountains and he says, this is my kingdom. Then he shows the citizens and he says, this is my kingdom. In the same way, taking this analogy, get that straight in your mind that what we are talking of one principle supreme reality, which is that God principle consciousness. This is what we need to understand over here. Otherwise, how can everything be the same? It is we are talking moving backwards. What does this indicate? So in this way, as it was told in the verse 18, a person who sees no action even while doing action. And in the verse 20, he says the organs act on the objects of the organs. That is told in verse 28 of the 3rd chapter. Then remaining absorbed in the self, the knower of reality should think, I certainly do not do anything. This is told in the next chapter of the 8th verse. See, all are pointing out to that one thing, that I as an individual, I am not doing anything. Think for yourself. If that prana shakti is gone from you, what will you do? Somebody else will have to come to lift you, to put you in the right place. Whatever you are doing is because of that consciousness which is there within you. Till such time it is there in you, you will be doing. So don't take this unnecessary credit for whatever is being done. You are not the doer. It is that principle of consciousness alone which is the true doer. So this is that concept which we need to get straight into our minds. I am not the doer. I am not the doer. I am not the doer. So now, having prepared our mind on these lines, various ways of offering our actions, your actions. We are doing actions. Now they're explained in the form of 11 yajnas. And the verse 24 is the ultimate, which I said. Seeing everything in that Lord and Lord alone. So now how do I understand the 11 yajnas? Which is important, which is not important, what should I do, what I should not do? Is there any guide which can help me in making me understand what is suitable to me, what is not suitable to me? So here, let's take a metaphor, analogy. Imagine there is a beautiful garden where there are various plants which are growing side by side. Now each plant, as you know, in a garden has its own unique qualities. It has its own colors, then it has got its flowers which have got different fragrance, and each and every flower has its own lifespan. So in this garden, some plants also require more sunlight and some thrive only in the shade. Now the gardener, with his wisdom and care, what he does is he attends to the plant's specific requirements. So these 11 yajnas, they speak about different paths to spiritual enlightenment. It says that various spiritual practices like charity, like austerity, like study, like pranayam, they all lead to the same destination when pursued with sincerity and dedication. Just as the different plants in the garden reach their full potential when nurtured according to their individual requirements. Some need more water, some need less water, more sunlight, some need less sunlight. Some need more manure, some need less manure. Who knows? Only the gardener knows. So in this metaphor, the garden represents the spiritual journey. The different plants, they symbolize diverse spiritual practices, like the 11 yajnas. And the gardener represents the sadhak, the seeker of truth. So it suggests that regardless of the path one chooses, the ultimate goal of spiritual realization can be achieved as long as one approaches it with authenticity and devotion. Not that if I get time I will do, otherwise I'll see some other time. Those people will just fall by over a period of time. And even if they try to practice, they will not get what they need to get. So just like the gardener who knows very well how each and every plant will thrive in its own unique way, so in this way now we as a sadhak, we have to understand what are these 11 yajnas, which suits me more, which is something which is beyond my reach and control. So on those lines, one has to take a call. Now let's study the 11 yajnas. So in after verse 24, now verse 25 starts with the next yajna. Daivamevapare yajnam yogina paryupasate brahmagnavapare yajnam yajnenaivopajuhvati. Apare yoginaha paryupasate yajnam daivam eva, means other yogis or the ritualists who undertake sacrifice to gods alone, what do they say? A sacrifice by which the gods are adored is Daiva Yajna. They perform only that. Now see, we're talking of different plants. Take that analogy. Each and every plant is different. Now what are they using here? Brahmagno. So in that fire of Brahman, what does he do is, he offers himself. Upajuhvati, he offers yajnam, the self, which is referred to the word yajna there. He says, whatever he says, my life is offered to you, O Lord. As simple as that. He does not go into any further complication. He just says, my life is none other than you, the Supreme Reality. There is no more conditioning. There is no more anchoring, or there is no more asking. So he has completely offered himself to the Almighty. This is one of the kinds. Now see, we have a wide range. There are 11 more. Don't get disturbed by, how can I do that? No. If that thought process, as you look at the others, they finally culminate into this. Now, what is the next one? How can, okay, I'll keep this aside. Now tell me the next one. What is the verse 26? What yajna does it offer? Let me understand that and select one good one. Okay, you go to say a shop. You want to buy a sari or a material. So you say, I want so and so is my requirement. And then the shopkeeper will ask you, are you looking for any kind of a color or a pattern, design? Then he says, no, I'm open to anything. So then he'll start showing you. Now what you do, you just look at each and every pattern, color which is shown to you, and then you start making up your mind. And there at some point you say, yes, this is the one which I have in mind. What you have in mind, you are not able to tell. But then eventually you will come to know that this is what I had in mind. So in the same way here, now let's look at the yajnas. What is the one which suits our temperament, personality, and it is easy to practice also. So verse number 26. Shrotraadin indriyananye Samyamagnishu juhvati shabdadin vishayan anye indriyagnishu juhvati. So, here let's understand in a simple way. Now, taking the principle of yajna, yajna means there is fire and you are offering something into the fire. Okay? Self-control becomes the fire here. Meaning, like you say, you do maunavrat. The power of speech is a sense. Now, controlling that power of speech becomes the fire, and there you're visualizing that I'm offering that power of speech into that fire of self-control. Another example, we all fast. Now, fasting, what is the main activity? You don't eat. So that becomes the organ. Okay, the power of eating is offered in the self-control of which is the fire. So you don't eat. So that self-control becomes the fire. And then the power to eat which you had, you are restrained that power. And in this there is another variation. What he says is like, make the organs, your ear, eyes, your tongue, your nose, and sparsha, which is touch. Now these are the organs, and those organs become the fire. And now what are you offering into it? Shabda, sparsha, rupa, rasa, gandha. Shabda is sound, sparsha is touch, rupa is sight, rasa is taste, gandha is smell. Now these are the objects of these 5 organs, sense organs. Now these, you by not diverting your mind to these objects of the senses, you have controlled that in the fire, which are the organs. So which meaning, even though I listen, I'm listening to something. Now you have to just say, yes, the ears are there, sound is there, the sound is heard by the ears, I am not the listener. So that kartrutva bhava, akarmani echa karmani, seeing in action, that becomes the point over here. Your senses are listening. Now you may be in mauna, but you are able to listen to some things, you are able to see certain things. What you have controlled is, you have only controlled your sense of speaking, but the rest are still open. So even then, now each and every sense organ has got an object of sense. The eyes have got the objects to be seen. The ears have got objects to be heard. So even though this interaction is happening, you have given the kartrutva bhava. Staying in this knowledge, this becomes a yajna. Now understand for yourself what is the difficulty over here. We are all doing upahas. We are all doing now and then maunavrat. Maunavrat need not be for one entire day. You can say, I'm going to do for 1 hour. Or I'm going to do till afternoon. Or from evening onwards, till I go to bed, I'm not going to speak to anybody. So that way, you are controlling something. I'm not going to drink water, nor I'm going to eat anything, nor I'm going to, sometimes you can say, I'm not going to see anything also. So these kind of restraints, they become a yajna. So understand the logic here is, you have given up your kartrutva bhava. Then what is happening? Yes, the organs are lit up by consciousness, and there is a creation in front of this sense organs, and they are interacting. I am just an observer, a drashta, which means a sakshi. Now he goes to the next level. After the sense organs, he comes to the antakarana, meaning the sukshma sharira. Now what does he say over here? सर्वाणीन्द्रियाणि कर्माणि प्राणकर्माणि चापरे आत्मसंयमयोगाग्नौ जुह्वति ज्ञानदीपिते. It is not only your sense organs. So now he says, offering of prana. In Sukshma Sharira, just recollect, there are 5 sense organs, 5 pranas, and 5 organs of actions, and Mana Buddhi Chitta Ahankara, 4. So totally they comprise of 19. So here is talking of not only the sense organs, but even the organs of action. Whatever are there, these organs of action, every act which I am doing, if I am walking, know that I am not the doer, because God has given me legs. God has given me the strength to walk. Have this understanding in your mind, and don't say that I did this. You must have done a great trek. Don't say I have done. The Lord in me gave me the strength in the legs. He has given me the legs, the strength in the legs, the mind to also do the trek. And eventually, whatever has happened through this body and mind. I am not this body and mind. I am just an observer, a sakshi. So here, offering each and every, all the pranas. Now breathing. It's very easy to accept breathing. We are not doing. Okay? Apana, Vyana, Udana, Samana. Meaning, breathing you are not doing on at your command. Breathing doesn't happen. Digestion are you doing? No. Drawing all the nutrients from the food elements which go into your body, are you doing? No. After having pulled out all the nutrients, knowing what nutrient has to go to which part of the body, are you doing? No. Then there is a certain amount of waste in the body. What is to be kept for the body and what is to be removed from the body, are you doing it? No. So in the same way, then why are you claiming that when you see something, I saw? When you give something, you say, I gave. When you go to some place by walk, you say, I went. Although for the sake of the transactional world, you say, I came, I went, I gave, I took. But within and within understand, just like these prana shakti is operating in you, all these functions, the entire 5 pranic functions are not under your control. Bring that logic here. Applying that same logic to the sense organs, same logic to the organs of action. And we say, I think, I decided to do this. What did you decide? What are you thinking? Are the thoughts in line with your understanding? No. Can you tell now, okay, the next 5 thoughts has to come in this sequence? They randomly come into your mind. Whatever is happening to us in our life is not under our control. Only here and there, some things you think that you're doing, but you're actually not the doer. That ignorance, that default setting is what we need to bring it under control. So, apart from the sense organs, using the logic of the prana shaktis, which are not under our control, use that to each and every action of the body, mind and senses, and say, I am not the doer. What is the next? Yajna. Dravya yajnastapo yajna yoga yajnastata pare swadhyaya yajnana yajnascha yatah samshita vrataah. Now there are other sacrifices which one do. How? Dravya yajna, by wealth, by austerity, by yoga, by study, and by knowledge. And also there are some ascetics who take severe vows. A vow can be that I am going to have only a cold water bath. That is also a vow. It is, you are not submitting yourself, surrendering yourself to the comfort of the body. That's the only logic here. Forget about the health benefits, disbenefits. That is a different aspect. But something which the body wants, which says, oh, it's so nice to have a warm or a hot water bath. I will teach you a lesson. You should listen to me. I'm not going to listen to you. So there you take a vow. I'm not going to have a hot water bath for the next 7 days or 1 month. So this way is severe vows. A person with wealth, he can do a donation, give a donation. And through yoga is like pranayam, meditation, bringing the mind under control. And study and knowledge is shravana, manana, nididhyasana, what all we are doing. So these are all the different ways where a sadhak is trying to bring in, raise his standards towards self-realization. So the Lord says, these are all the various ways of yajna. Now you see for yourself. Swadhyaya Gnana yajna. So performing yajna by way of study. We just studying the scriptures. Now we are listening to the scripture, which is Shravana. This is a yajna. Some other time we are listening. That is a yajna. Somebody is in difficulty. You give them some financial help. That becomes a yajna. You say, now I'm going to fast today. That becomes a yajna. You say, now I'm going to do meditation. That becomes a yajna. Now see, you are going to do austerity in terms of doing a jap. That becomes a yajna. So, a sadhak can use any of these yajnas to achieve self-realization. So this is what is explained by Lord Krishna. He gave now several more yajnas for us to follow. After that, now he dedicates the next verse for pranayam by the power of Raja Yoga. How pranayam can uplift one's soul towards self-realization. So the next verse says, Apane juhvati pranam pranopanam tata pare pranapana rudhva pranayama parayanaha. See, breathing is something which is an inevitable aspect of our life. Now, even this can be made as a yajna. From the time we are born till we breathe our last, breathing is a part and parcel of our life. In fact, it is the beginning and also the end of our life. So now, this can be made an yajna, dedicated to the Almighty. Now and then, whenever you can, instead of thinking some random thought, focus the mind towards your prana. Wherever you are, in whatever situation you are, you can always bring your mind on prana, and just for that second or two, say, now the yajna is happening in me. I am not the breather, which is a fact. You are not the breather. You think you are the breather, but that breath is going in and going out without your permission. Isn't it? You see, give command and see. No, don't breathe for another 5 minutes. It will not listen to you. You say, now breathe rapidly for the next 1 hour. It will not listen to you. So, breathing is an involuntary, natural act which is happening. The moment you surrender, you know that I have no control on this breath. Then what happens? Immediately that becomes a yajna. And we should understand that breath is the vehicle for the mind. The mind travels on what? On the breath. If you see, when you are angry, when you are scared, anxious, your breath starts moving rapidly. When you are calm, when your mind is calm, serene, then you see the breath is absolutely slow and steady. So what does this indicate? The moment you get calm, the breath, even if it was at a very high rate, it automatically comes down. And even if your breath is at a very low rate, if you get angry, you see that the breath rate shoots up. So this way, to get your mind in the right frame, one has to do pranayam, which we all have started doing in the ratio of 1:4:2. So there you regulate your breath first, and then you work on your mind. See, when we are going on a long trip, say it's about 300-400 kilometers you have to travel, what do? First thing is you say, गाड़ी ठीक है ना, check करो, हवा, पानी, all that, whether the tires are properly inflated, whether the entire battery and the entire vehicle system is in order. Don't we do that? If there are any issues, we send it to the garage, get the servicing done. Wipers are not in order, get the wipers in order. So why do we do all this? Because our journey has to be comfortable. So in the same way, if our journey of life has to be comfortable, meaning unless and until the mind is peaceful, our journey of life is not comfortable. And to make that mind peaceful, our breath has to be in order. This is the purpose why we talk about the pranayam. So the Lord here also says that this pranayam is important. There was a yogi by name Ravi who was staying in one of the secluded and deep mountains. Most of the time he spent his day in meditating and practicing various yogic techniques. One day, a curious traveler by name Arjun, he was a sadhak, and he was really looking forward to meet up with some yogi where he could learn the art of moving forward on the spiritual path. So he was going around in those woods trying to meet up with various yogis. Now there he stumbled upon this cave and he witnessed the serene behavior of this yogi Ravi. So intrigued, Arjun, he asks this yogi, what is the secret behind your inner peace? You look to me so serene and illustrious. So now the yogi smiled and he says, I had learned the art of pranayam from my guru. And then Arjun asks him, can you share this with me, please? So he says, why not? I can do that. And then Arjun starts studying under the yogi the art of pranayam. Slowly he could see that as he's progressing on the performing of this pranayam, his mind was coming under control. Even in challenging situations, when his mind is not in focus, he is to immediately practice this pranayam, and he could see that the mind had come under control, under mastery. So just like you see there is a lamp, and as wind can blow off the lamp or it can shake the lamp, in the same way, disturbances in the mind can only be controlled by the power of breathing. So Arjun, who learned the art from this yogi, he masters over pranayam and slowly gets into the higher state of meditation, and that higher state of meditation, it takes him to the higher planes of consciousness, where he gains mastery over his emotions, his inner turmoil, and all the disturbances of his life, which eventually gradually subside. So here the Lord says, pranayam, it is not only going to take you to the higher levels, but it will solve your livelihood problems where you are not able to handle. Now you have a lamp and there is a lot of wind. Wind are like the disturbances in life. So you bring a nice glass shield and place on it. So this pranayam, it is like that glass shield which protects that lamp, which is like your mind. So he says, you want to use this pranayam also is a yajna towards me, because I know it can bring you towards me, and it says, good, you can practice this. Be peaceful and keep moving towards me. Okay. Now, next, verse 30. Apare niyataharaha pranan praneshu juhvati sarve pyete yajnavidaha yajnakshapita kalmashaha. Now it comes after prana, he says food. You are able to regulate food and offer those vital forces. Vital forces in the sense that prana shakti which is there in you, he says, you offer that control of food as a yajna towards me. Now it's here, don't take it only for the food and food aspect. All intakes, not only food, what we hear, what we see, what we touch, what we smell, and of course food, taking food means it is taste. So all the five senses, whatever you're taking inside, if you are able to regulate, that becomes a yajna. So living a life in moderation, regulating your food habits, regulating your sleep habits, regulating your various other activities of seeing, listening, all that, if you start regulating, that itself becomes a yajna. Now there are some people, hi, hello, how are you? Yes, good. Then they start, something? What? They start talking about something, some person, and some situation. What have you got to do with that? Then you should regulate. Next time I see this person, I better move away. I don't want to have a conversation. Why? Because unnecessarily they waste your time. So that becomes regulation. Somebody offers you some food which you don't need. In the sense, it is a sweet dish, let's say. Okay, once in a while you're having a sweet dish, it's fine. But you can't keep having every day a sweet dish, isn't it? So there, that regulation. When you do any regulation in your life, be it with respect to any of the sense organs, have it in your mind that I am doing it for this love of God. It becomes a yajna. Now many people do dieting for their good health. But what is their goal, intention, and desire behind dieting? It is, I want to look fit. Now that is your desire, where I want to look beautiful or handsome. Now instead of that, you regulated your diet as a love of God. That becomes a yajna. See, change in the perception of our thinking. Offer everything to the Lord. I'm not going to talk to this person because it's all going to be a bogus discussion. So that itself, that pragmatic decision what you took, where there is a regulation towards your sense of hearing, that becomes a yajna. So in other words, connect everything to the Lord. If you want it to be a karma which will bring you into bondage, then there is no God there. But that same karma, when you do it with this sense of dedication towards the Lord, keeping God in the forefront, when you do that same action, that becomes a yajna. So he says, Sarve pyete yajna vidaha yajna kshapita kalmashaha. So all of this becomes a sacrifice. Now here, now he has completed all the sacrifices. 11 sacrifices. Now, what is the ending? The ending is saying, connect every action that God is the doer, I am not the doer. Use your pranas, use your sense actions, use your organs of action, be it through your mind, intellect, or be it through pranayam. All that is nothing but nothing. When you connect it in the name of God, it becomes a yajna. What happens by performing these yajnas, and what happens if I don't perform this yajna? That's one question. Okay, good, you're telling me, but I don't believe all this. I'm fine what I'm doing, the way I'm doing. I've been doing for so many years, decades. My father also did this way, my grandfather also did this way. Why should I listen to what you're saying? I'm fine with what I'm doing. So here Lord Krishna says, if your thought process is in that way, listen to me, I have something to tell you. First is how he's concluding these yajnas, how you should be taking every aspect in your life. And then this shloka he concludes saying, if you are not doing, what is your fate? Yajnashishtamrita bujaha yanti brahma sanatanam nayam lokosya yajnasya kutonya kuru sattama. Those who have been doing actions with the thought of the consciousness or the Parabrahman in mind, every action done with the spirit of God in mind, it is like the partaking of a nectar left over after a sacrifice. It is like what we get at prasad, no? After a yajna is done, you get prasad. So what is prasad? Prasad is nothing but it's some kind of a food which is prepared. It could be a fruit or it could be some cooked food. Now that same cooked food or a fruit which is offered to the yajna kunda, to the Lord, what happens? It gets the status of prasad. So in the same way, whatever action you are doing in life, just bring that element of God in between. It is for the love of God, or it is at behest of God, or it is for the sake of God. What is the big difficulty in this? Now when I'm starting this discourse, I said, oh Lord, you are giving this discourse through this body and mind. Oh, Krishna Arpanamastu. I am not the doer at all. So anything you're about to eat food, you say, oh Lord, it is you who is taking this meal through this body and mind. So your kartrutva bhava goes for a toss. It is only that habit which we need to cultivate. See, so many thoughts keep coming to your mind. How did it come to your mind? Because you have nurtured those thoughts. So in the same way, we have to now change the abrupt and bogus thoughts which we are nurturing in life by using these thoughts of knowledge. So he says, those who take this, whatever they get in their life, it becomes like nectar. The leftovers of a sacrifice. And then he says, what about the people who do not have, common people who do not have any knowledge of this? Gnana, who do not perform anything in the spirit of a sacrifice, who always do that with the intention that I want to achieve this and I must get this. I'll see how I don't get this. So people who never bring Lord in the picture, kutonyataha. He says, forget about they will never have peace in this life. He openly says this. And such people who do not have peace in this life, in this own very life, kuta anyataha. Anya means what to talk about they getting peace in the other worlds. Meaning what? Some world where it is much horrible than this, that will be their destination. Kurusattama, oh best among the Kurus, he says, understand this. This is one very important aspect which I am telling you. Be very careful. You don't live this life as though you are the proud owner and you have got everything. Recognize the power behind this life which you are breathing every moment. And then he says, in the next verse, he talks about the enlightenment to free one from the bondage. That is given in the next verse. Evam bahuvida yajna jitata brahmano mukhe karmajan vidditan sarvan evam gnatva vimokshase. Now all these yajnas which are told by the Vedas and the Upanishads, and understand behind every action, know that there is that supernatural conscious power. Just knowing this, you will be liberated. Don't think you are the doer. See, again and again it comes back to the same thing. I am not the doer. I am not the doer. Vidhi means no. Tan sarvan karmajan. That all whatever is coming out of, which is born of action, accomplished through this body, activities of the body, speech and mind. And know that you are not the doer. It is this body, mind and self which is the doer. And that consciousness which is within this body, mind and self is also not the doer. It's only the drashta bhava. It is the witness to everything which is happening. Get this distinction very clear. So this aham bhava is not there. Now there is an equipment in your house. There is a fan. There is electricity. Now, as soon as electricity gets in touch with that fan, where you switch on, the fan starts rotating. You mean to say that the electricity is rotating in that fan? No. It is only giving that power, and that equipment which is designed to rotate, it rotates. Electricity does not rotate. Let's say there is a iron box. Now the job of the iron box is you press your clothes. While pressing the clothes, if one of your clothes get burnt, is it the fault of the iron box or of the electricity behind the iron box? Now, as that electricity gave current to the power to the fan to operate, in the same way it has given power to the iron box to operate. So electricity has got nothing with respect to the consequences. You might have pressed a garment very well, but the credit goes to the iron box, not to the electricity behind it. Yes, this is a good iron box. It really does a good job. So this way, now what you have to understand it, all actions which are being done, this consciousness, although is the provider of the force behind all these actions, it has got nothing to do with the results. This knowledge is extremely important. As we saw that I am not the karta, same way understand that when you say I am not the karta, that consciousness is also not the karta. Now come to one very fine understanding. This aham bhava which was saying I am not the karta, and the consciousness is also saying I am not the karta, means this feeling of I, what you have, is nothing other than that supreme reality. Tattvamasi. This is what we need to understand here. So this I, what you are saying is, because of ignorance it is I. The moment you understand the true nature of how this whole creation is happening, how everything is functioning, this I, aham, it becomes soham. It becomes that God and God alone. So there are no two. Ekam advitiya Brahma. There are no two. There is only one. That consciousness within me and that Paramatma, which we are talking about, who has enveloped the entire universe. Here it is reflecting in me as Chetana Shakti, and outside it is enveloped the entire universe. Both are one. So this is true knowledge, and this is the result of full enlightenment. This is the purport. This releases you from the worldly bondage. Lord Krishna finally says. Okay, now in the next class we'll take up knowledge is greater than rituals. This is the verse 33. We'll take up in the next class. It's already quite some time now. Okay. Shri Krishna Arpanamastu. Idam Namah. Now we listen to two divine names. Verse number 39. Atula Sharabho Bhimaha Samayagno Havirharihi Sarvalakshana Lakshanyo Lakshmivan Samitinjayaha. Sharabaha 356. One who dwells and shines forth through the bodies. Bodies are called Shara because they are perishable. The life that presides over the perishable body, whose glory is the individuality, is the self, the Lord. It can also mean Lord who is of the nature of Parameshwara. For Lord Shiva had once taken the incarnation of Sharabha, a creature with 8 legs, capable of killing even the lions. So in this way, the Divine Lord got the name Sharabaha. 357 Bhimaha, the all-inspiring, the terrible, meaning one who is mighty and terrible phenomenon to those who are cruel and sensuous in the world. To the bad, the Lord is always a frightful power of vengeance, to follow them relentlessly as their doom. Some commentators, due to the position of this word in the stanza, read it as Abhima, meaning hereby he who is the shelter to those who are good. So such a Lord Sharabaha and Bhimaha, we offer our humble salutations. Seek His grace, mercy and blessings. Om Tat Sat. Now let's chant the Dhanvantari mantra 3 times. Om Namo Bhagavate Mahasudarshanaya Vasudevaya Dhanvantaraye Amrutagalashastaya Sarvabhaya Vinashaya Sarvaroga Nivaranaya Trailokyapataye Trailokyanidaye Shri Mahavishnu Swarupa Shri Dhanvantari Swarupa Shri 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 Aushadha Chakra Narayanaya Swaha. Om Namo Bhagavate Mahasudarshanaya Vasudevaya Dhanvantaraye Amrutagalashastaya Sarvabhaya Vinashaya Sarvaroga Nivaranaya Trailokyapataye Trailokyanidaye Shri Mahavishnu Swarupa Shri Dhanvantari Swarupa Shri 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 Aushadha Chakra Narayanaya Swaha. Om Namo Bhagavate Mahasudarshanaya Vasudevaya Dhanvantaraye Amrutagalashastaya Sarvabhaya Vinashaya Sarvaroga Nivaranaya Trailokyapataye Trailokyanidaye Shri Mahavishnu Swarupa Shri Dhanvantari Swarupa Shri 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 Aushadha Chakra Narayanaya Swaha. We offer our humble prayers and salutations to Lord Dhanvantari to give us the right and apt health to achieve this divine knowledge. Om Tat Sat. Now let's do the Sakshatkara Siddhi Yoga Dhyana. Initially, let's start with our pranayam and then do the Sakshi Bhava meditation. So please be seated comfortably. If at all you need to get up and sit down again, please do that. Bring your body to a complete state of relaxation for the next 8 to 10 minutes. Head, neck and spine in a straight line. Completely relax your forehead. Relax your face. Your neck, your shoulders, your upper body. Your entire body. Now let's start the pranayam in proportions of 1:4:2. Very light and slow breathing. Now slowly bring your attention to your mind. Bring your attention to the thoughts in your mind. Become an observer of your thoughts, a drashta. Your mind and the thoughts become madrishya. Without being judgmental, allow the thoughts to pass away. Slowly bring your attention on your breath. Observe your breath going in and out. Become aware of yourself. Become aware of your surroundings. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat. Shri Chinmaya Sadgurave Namaha. Rub your palm, place them on your eyes. Gently and lovingly open your eyes. Together, we offer today's Gita Gnana Yajna at the lotus feet of the Almighty to seek His grace, mercy, love, and blessings. Naham karta hari karta, hari preranaya, hari prityartam. Shri Krishna Arpanamastu. Idam Namah. Om Tat Sat.
Sinigang, Sari Dairy.